Introducing the all-new Italiano range of pizza. Pizza Ultimo. Pizza Hut.
Hello there, very good evening and welcome to our Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
Pakistan is gearing up for a historic general election as violence is in the lead-up to the elections tomorrow threatens the transition of power.
The News First international desk, which has been closely monitoring the developments in Pakistan, has a comprehensive report coming up later on in the news. But before that, let's take a look at your headlines.
Azad Salih released from CID custody. Alleged fraudster Sakwiti Rana Singh granted bail. Central Bank decides to cut down its policy interest rates. And the head of the EU delegation in Sri Lanka says that South Asia will see a bright future.
The former Deputy Mayor of Colombo, Azad Salih, was being held by the Criminal Investigations Department under detention orders, was released today. Prior to this release, Salih submitted an affidavit to the President, noting that he will continue standing for sovereignty and territorial integrity of Sri Lanka and for the equal rights of all communities.
In his affidavit to the President, obtained by News First, Salih says he was misquoted in an interview with the Junior Vikatan magazine published in India, and upon realizing this, requested the magazine to publish a correction, which has since been republished. Salih says he does not advocate or support anyone taking up arms against the Republic of Sri Lanka, as he is fully aware of the consequences and the costs of such a course of action. He expresses his regret if anyone was misled by the interview published in the magazine or if anyone had been disturbed by it. Salih also notes that he attended a conference organized by the Popular Front of India purely on the basis of an invitation extended to him and that he participated solely as an invitee for the first time. Salih adds that he had no prior knowledge of the organization's background and their motives. Furthermore, Salih says that as a patriotic citizen of Sri Lanka, he will not support anyone who makes statements against Sri Lanka or its national security, and that he condemns such actions and statements.
Azad Salih, who was in custody for 8 days, was admitted to a private hospital in Colombo earlier in the day.
Azad Salih, who was being treated at the National Hospital in Colombo under CID detention, was admitted to a private hospital in Colombo subsequent to being released. His family said that Salih's health had deteriorated as he had refused food for several days. Speaking to the media from hospital bed today, Salih expressed these views.
The Buddhist clergy, the Hindu, the Christian, the Muslim, the Jamiatul Ulama, the Council of Muslims, all the ambassadors, all foreign missions, all the pain they took to secure my release. A big thank you to everybody who worked hard for this. I have not done any harm to this country. I love my motherland. ඔගලන් සියලු දෙනා දීපු සහයෝගය තමයි අද මම එළියේ ඉන්නේ. ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි. ඔගලන්
It is because of the support rendered by all of you that I am free today. I appreciate the support of the media. I also pray to God that no one else should face such a situation in the future. That is all. I was detained for 8 days. I did not eat anything. It is difficult for me to speak now. I will make a statement in another 2 days.
කතා කරගන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක ඉන්නේ. තව දවස් දෙකකින් මම ප්‍රකාශයක් ඔක්කොම ආදී ගෙනල්ලා මම කරන්නම්. ඔක්කොටම මම ඉගෙන මොකක් කර කියන්නද? ඒක මම කාටවත් ලියුමක් නෙවෙයි මම ඇෆිඩෙවිට් එකක් දීලා තිනවා.
I have submitted an affidavit regarding our actions on behalf of peace in this country. Azad Salih is dedicated to harmony in this country. Our organization is dedicated to this cause. There are no secessionists among us. It is people who unite the country that are with us. I have not made such a statement. Neither have I thought of such a statement. Therefore, he needs to look into my arrest immediately. That is all I have said through my affidavit.
එතුමා වාම බලන්න ඕනේ කියලා. එච්චර මම affidavit එකේ කියලා දෙන්නේ. වෙන මොකුත් මං කියලා නැහැ. ස්තුතියි.
සමාවිල්ලීමක් කරලා නැහැ. We will give you comments.
මං දෙන්නම් statement
We
එක.
will give you later statement. Yes. Please. We will give you a statement later.
I will make a statement. I am grateful to everyone that made sacrifices for me, to all the media and all the party leaders. The media especially, Siwasa and Devana. Siwasa dedicated a separate program. We are grateful to them. And the lawyers.
lawyers-ලට නීතිඥවරුන්ට එතකොට සංවිධාන මුළු රටේම කැනඩාව ඇමරිකාව human rights human watch එද මම දන්නේ
I do not even know the news. I will look at everything and make a statement tomorrow or the day after when I am well. Thank you.
දෙන්නම් කියලා ස්තුතියි.
Meanwhile, one of the two fundamental rights petitions filed at the Supreme Court by family members of Azad Saleh on his behalf was withdrawn today. The petition was withdrawn when it was taken up for hearing today. The second fundamental rights petition filed by family members of Azad Saleh will be taken up again in the Supreme Court on the 28th of this month. Azad Saleh was arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department on the 2nd of May at a residence in Salimullah, Kolonnawa. The police later said that he was taken into custody under provisions in the Prevention of Terrorism Act.
On to another story that made the headlines tonight. Now, bail was determined today for Chandana Veerakumara alias Sakwiti Ranasinghe, who was remanded on charges of defrauding people of over 1 billion rupees. Bail was set when the suspect was produced before the Nugegoda Magistrates Court today. Although bail was granted, the suspect Sakwiti Ranasinghe will have to continue serving a jail term for a separate case for which he was sentenced by the Colombo High Court.
Bail was set for the suspect Sakwiti Ranasinghe at 500,000 rupees with two sureties of 2.5 million rupees each by Nugegoda Magistrate Ajit M. Masinghe today. Among the conditions for bail was that the two persons put forward for the surety should be resident under the jurisdiction of the Nugegoda Magistrates Court. The magistrate also ordered the suspect to report to the Commercial Crimes Investigations Unit of the Criminal Investigations Department every Saturday. In truth, a suspect can only be detained for about 2 years according to the laws compiled by legislature. Therefore, I am happy to state that in keeping with the legal provisions, he has been given justice. He had been imprisoned for almost 3 years since 2010.
වසර 2010 වසරේ සිට වසර 3කට ආසන්න කාලයක් ඔහු බන්ධනාගාරගත වෙලා හිටියේ.
Sakwiti Ranasinghe, who was accused of defrauding investors of more than 1 billion rupees through a private financial institution, was arrested in August 2010. Although his wife was also placed in remand custody along with him, she was released on bail nearly 1.5 months ago. The new laboratory and office complex of the Government Analyst Department was declared open by President Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The new state-of-the-art laboratory complex of the Government Analyst Department is located in Palavatta, Battaramulla. The 6-story building comprises of office facilities and was built at a cost of 1,393 million rupees. A state-of-the-art DNA laboratory is also established at this new building complex.
In business news tonight, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has decided to reduce the policy interest rate, which determines interest rates at commercial banks by 50 basis points. Accordingly, the repurchase and reverse repurchase rates will reduce to 7% and 9% respectively.
Speaking to News First, the governor of the CBSL, Ajit Nivrad Kabral, explained why the monetary board arrived at this decision.
The central bank has observed that the inflation pressures as well as the inflation numbers have been moderating over the past few months, and that has given us the space to provide an additional spur to the growth momentum of the country. And the Monetary Board decided at its meeting yesterday that we would reduce the policy rates by a further 50 basis points so that we will be encouraging growth in the next few weeks and months to come.
The Ministry of Finance says that 8 state enterprises are not functioning at present. The subject minister made this statement in Parliament today in response to a question raised by the opposition.
Deputy Minister of Finance Dr. Sarath Amunugama, speaking in Parliament, said that it has been decided to terminate 4 of the 8 non-functioning enterprises. The 4 enterprises which are to be terminated are the Ceylon Fertilizer Company, the Hingurana Sugar Company, the Sri Lanka Rubber Manufacturing and Export Corporation and Lanka Fabrics. The other enterprises were deemed as not functioning are the Kantale Sugar Company, Lanka Salusala, Satosa and the State Trading Cooperative Wholesale Company Limited. The Ministry of Finance said that the 4 aforementioned enterprises would be re-established. The total loss of the 8 enterprises as a whole as of the 31st of December 2012 is reported to be over 3.5 billion rupees.
In the meantime, Democratic National Alliance parliamentarian Anurakumara Dissanayake raised a question in Parliament regarding the granting of broadcasting rights of international sports events to private networks in addition to state television companies. The parliamentarian, who pointed out that the Minister of Sports was not present in the chambers to respond to the question, emphasized that this was the 4th time that the relevant question was raised in Parliament.
ගරු කතානායකතුමනි ඔබතුමා ඒ ප්‍රශ්නෙට අවධානය යොමු කරන්න.
Honorable Speaker, please focus attention on this problem. This is the 4th time that this question is raised in Parliament. This is regarding a specific fact and is not regarding any major report or audit. Has broadcasting rights of international sports events been granted to private companies in addition to state television companies? If you watch television, you would say the answer is yes. How was it granted? Was it through a proper tender procedure?
මේන් ගරු කතානායකතුමනි මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ මගහැර යාමෙන් පෙන්눔 කරන්නේ. හොඳයි ඇමතුමා පැමිණ නැත. නෑ දැන් සභානායකතුමත් කිර්මේ මේක අපේ සංවිධායකතුමත් 4 වෙනි වතාව මෙතුමා තමයි ඉල්ලන්නේ හැමදාම. අපි ඒක අවධානය යොමු කරන්නම් ඇමතුමාට පැමිණ උත්තර දෙන්න.
Another episode of the Satana political debate program took place at the Stein Studios in Ratmalana last evening. The need for a constitution for Sri Lanka was a subject of yesterday's debate. Here's a look at a few excerpts from the program.
When we look around, what we see is the fall of democracy, the flouting of the law, and how injustice reigns supreme. The people as a whole want democracy and justice. To achieve such a transformation, the Constitution plays a major role. When you look at the Constitution, since its inception in 1978, we can see how it has gradually been steered towards the wrong side. If we continue to remain with this Constitution, there will be serious problems. Let's start from one point. The executive presidency is one factor. We can expect the justice that we are looking for when the district electoral system is abolished and when we can obtain a responsible public representative, when the preferential vote system is abolished, when due position is provided to an elections commission, and when a free and fair election is held under a caretaker government. Then we can expect the justice we are looking for. There are several major flaws in this constitution. One is that the executive president is not responsible to parliament. If the first lady is seeking a divorce, she will have to wait for the end of the president's term. Back then, one could have made peace with it, saying that it is only 12 years. But now, even the first lady does not know how long she has to wait for. If hunting humans is a hobby of whoever is sworn in as president, then the answer for it through the constitution would be an impeachment. Even if the president becomes fanatical and commits murder in public, the only answer to that is the impeachment motion. That impeachment motion will never come into practice. The increasing number of ministers is not the danger of this constitution. If the president wants, he can take over all the ministries and have a singular cabinet. Thankfully, it has not happened.